With the release of Javy Baez on the cover of MLB The Show 20, it got me thinking, do we have an MLB The Show cover curse? Now, I never really thought about this before, but the more I started to think about it, I think we might have an MLB The Show cover curse. Now, what that means is that the player that gets on the cover of the game, things don't necessarily go that well for them afterwards. This has been something that's well documented with the game of Madden. Everybody kind of knows that there's a Madden curse. Once a player gets on the cover of the game, things don't necessarily go that well for them in the short term or long term. And so I thought I'd look back at some of these games with MLB The Show, and I know a lot of people are excited for Javy Baez on the cover. I personally am. I think he's one of the most fun players to watch in all of baseball. But now I am worried about Javy Baez. I really don't hope that nothing bad happens to him. And we're going to look back at some of the former players that have been on the cover of MLB The Show, and we're going to see how things worked out after they were on the cover. If you guys like this video, be sure to drop a like, be sure to subscribe if you guys are new, and make sure you guys hit the notification bell. I'm trying to drop daily videos. Now, first up on our list is Miguel Cabrera. He was on the cover of MLB The Show 14. I think he was just kind of coming off a Triple Crown year like a year or two before. He was an absolute beast, an absolute monster hitter. It's been a couple years now, but Miggy has really fell off. The power is just gone. I think his legs have just been destroyed. And as you guys know, as baseball fans, you really get your power from your legs when you hit. So I would say that the cover curse has really hit him. They've never won a World Series since. The Tigers have been extremely down. His contract has been extremely bad. So I think that Miguel Cabrera is definitely a prime candidate to be one of our first players that got hit by the MLB The Show cover curse. Now, our next cover athlete is Yasiel Puig. He was on the cover of MLB The Show 15, and at that time, Yasiel Puig was supposed to be like the next big thing. Like, he was all over the highlight reels. He was supposed to be the next great baseball player. Has it really worked out? I wouldn't really say yes at all. I think it's not worked out at all since he's been on the cover of MLB The Show 15. He had a couple good years here and there. He actually even got sent down to the minor leagues by the Dodgers. Then they shipped him off to the Reds. The Reds, they shipped him off to the Indians this year. It's never really completely lived up to the hype, I would say, for Yasiel Puig. He was supposed to be one of the next big-time players, and for whatever reason, it really just hasn't worked out for him. I wish him the best going forward, but it just really hasn't worked out. I would definitely say he was bit by the MLB The Show curse. For MLB The Show 16, our cover athlete was Josh Donaldson. Now, Josh Donaldson actually had a pretty good year in 2016. He actually ended up making the All-Star game as a reserve. His team made the playoffs. He did not have a bad year at all. But what ended up happening in 2017 was he got hurt and things were not looking as good. He did not have a good 2017. He did not have a good 2018. Ended up on the Indians at the end of it. He kind of bounced back this year with the Braves and has been a little bit better. He was a good veteran piece for the Braves this year at third base. But he's never been in the MVP conversation again. It's kind of been downhill, so to speak, from this cover. So I would say Josh Donaldson's kind of been affected by the curse. I don't think it's been extremely dramatic, but I would definitely say that Josh Donaldson has been a victim of the MLB The Show cover curse. Now, the cover athlete for MLB The Show 17 was a lot different than the other cover athletes because Griffey was a former player instead of a current player. Ken Griffey Jr. was on the cover of MLB The Show 17. They were celebrating his release into Diamond Dynasty, and it was a huge card for the community. It was somebody that we never thought we would get, and now Griffey has really been working with MLB The Show the past couple years, doing a lot of commercials for them, and really being a good member of the MLB The Show team, so to speak. I think this was actually a win. I think Griffey did escape the MLB The Show cover curse. But it's hard to say that just because he was the one guy that was not necessarily a former player, or I should say a current player. Now, moving on to MLB The Show 18, our cover athlete was Aaron Judge. He was coming off a monster rookie season at the time. Huge guy in baseball at the time. Still is one of the bright young stars of the game. But since the cover, he still had a bunch of home runs in 2018, but he got injured his wrist, missed a whole bunch of the season. The Yankees couldn't go anywhere in the playoffs. Then the next year, this past year, he got an oblique strain, and he has not been able to really contribute the way that I think Yankee fans would want him to be contributing. I think he kind of came up short in the playoffs this year, so he's really kind of been bitten by the curse. Now, the cover athlete for MLB The Show 19 was Bryce Harper, and this cover was a little bit different at first because we weren't sure where Bryce Harper was going to go. Was he going to go back to the Nationals? Was he going to go to the Phillies, which he ended up doing? Was he going to go to the White Sox? Where was he going to go? Was he going to go team up with Machado in San Diego? There were rumors all over the place as to where he was going to go. So how's it worked out for him since he went to the Phillies? Now, he didn't have like an amazing season this year, but he didn't have a terrible season either. It was somewhere in the middle. I'm sure he would like to have more of an MVP type of campaign of season, but what's been really crazy is since he has left the Nationals are now up 2-0 at the time of the recording on this video to win the World Series. They might win the World Series without him, and that was always kind of his problem when he was in Washington. They could never take the next step. They would always make the playoffs. They'd always have a good team, but he could never really get them over the hump to bring them home the World Series trophy. And even if you watch this trailer, the first thing he says is, all I want to do is win. He ended up getting paid a little bit more money to go to the Phillies. I'm sure everything will work out. He's going to be paired with Rhys Hoskins for the foreseeable future, but that Nats team is loaded. Imagine him paired with Soto. They're probably going to they're going to have Max Scherzer still. They're probably going to get an extension done for Steven Strasburg. The Nationals are amazing. So was he hit by the curse? I think Harper was hit by the curse. Is there an MLB The Show cover curse? Now that you guys have been presented with the information, what do you guys think? Do not hesitate to drop a comment down in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, guys. If you did like the video, subscribe if you guys are new, and hit that notification bell if you would like to see more MLB The Show videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, have a great day. Peace.